Are you? Okay.
All right. Welcome to my must-see tour of Washington, D.C. My name is Willie Baber, and today I'm going to be your tour guide. I recently was able to spend some time in our nation's capital, and I was able to check out some of the sites. And I've come up with a little tour that I like to call my Big Three Must-See in D.C. It's kind of a tongue twister. All right, shall we begin? Our three stops today are going to take us to the National Mall in beautiful Washington, D.C. Our first stop is going to take us here to the White House, followed by the Lincoln Memorial, and finally ending up in the National Air and Space Museum. Shall we begin? Oh, and please, no flash photography. Our first stop is a building that for over 200 years has survived wars, fires, and at one point became so decrepit that President Truman was quoted as saying, "It creaks and it cracks so much I'm haunted sure as shooting." That building is the White House. And for over 200 years, it has been more than just home to the president. It has symbolized his administration and the United States as a country. First planned in 1867, first planned by George Washington in 1792, it would say not be until 1800 that our second president, John Adams, actually come to live there. The White House was then burned in 1814 by the British during the War of 1812, but was quickly rebuilt and reoccupied by 1817. Here's what it would have looked like at the time. Since then, the White House has been remodeled, renovated, expanded, but overall has remained fundamentally the same. The outside brick is still the original brick laid in 1792. The White House also plays more than just host to the president and his family. It also plays host to visiting heads of state. An interesting story about a visiting head of state was once, while Winston Churchill was staying in the Lincoln bedroom, he swore he saw the ghost of Lincoln haunting the hallways at night, and was so scared he refused to stay in the Lincoln bedroom. This brings us to our next stop. This building was first planned in 1867, but would actually take 47 years to begin construction, and is made completely of marble. Talking about the Lincoln Memorial, dedicated on Memorial Day in 1922 to our fallen 16th president, whose accomplishments included freeing the slaves, saving the Union, while all at the same time being assassinated in the line of duty. The memorial lies at the edge of the reflecting pool, where in 1963, Martin Luther King gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. In front, you'll notice the 36 columns here. These represent the states at the time of Lincoln's assassination, including the 11 that were succeeded at the time. Above this are the 48 at the time of the construction. I like this because it kind of symbolizes how America is always growing and changing, as there's now 50 states. Once inside, you'll notice the stately seated Lincoln carved of Georgian marble, peacefully keeping a vigil over Washington and the Capitol. Inside, Lincoln is flanked on either side by two of his most famous speeches, the Gettysburg Address and his second inaugural address. It's really quite an impressive monument. You really get a feel of how Lincoln felt and meant to this country. And it's pretty impressive. And when coming out, you'll realize Lincoln has the greatest view in Washington. You can see downtown, you can see the Lincoln Memorial, you can see the Washington Monument off the opposite end of the reflecting pool. And just beyond that, you can see our last stop. This building, I would go out on a limb and say anybody in the world could find something interesting here. This building is called the National Air and Space Museum. This museum has the largest collection of air and space artifacts at over 50,000 items. They have everything ranging in size from a space shuttle all the way down to a tiny microchip. I was able to spend a good 5 hours here, and I seriously barely skimmed the surface. They have everything: airplanes, rockets, missiles, anything you can think of that flew in the sky, they probably have it there. Some of the most interesting exhibits include the Wright brothers' first plane that flew at Kitty Hawk, and the Apollo 11 command module, which was the first to land on the moon. The list goes on and on. The collection began in 1867 with a set of kites donated by China, and today